I shall mute my mic. And I'll leave you guys all in the hands of Lizard, who's very capable. Alright, and I'll talk to you after it's over.
Yeah, good luck.
Alright, thank you. Same to you, I guess.
I'll make work. I'll make work out of it. Okay. Hello, chat. This is awkward. You know, I've never been alone on another stream, and now you're here. I'm here. There's something in the air. There's also Moonfasa versus Saraka, the third place match that, you know, technically has already been played, has already been forfeited by Moonfasa to, accommodate you with a broad viewing experience here. We sacrificed the precious third place match for a commentary on the finals. But alas, here we are again, Zarok versus Moon, doing a bit of a cheeky run back. We see blue-green targeted for Moon, and we see blue-green targeted for Zarok. Well, that makes my life a lot easier. Does Rakoan win? Is question here, I ask myself. And we're not concerned with proper expression here. We're not concerned with having the right grammar. It's a chill stream. What pesky thing can the English language be? So, blue, yellow tempo. That's generally speaking a good counter to mechas, or red in general, as it is quite fast usually. So I think there's merit to starting with green even, because after you stabilize the early game, I think you'll end up winning. But yeah, let's see how this version of Zarek looks. Toeship, already a great opener. For Moon, we'll have to see. It's quite the slow hand. Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to say that. Well, I suppose Moon is not really hearing me. So yeah, I can talk freely about these cards now. If you're hearing me, Moon, please do something about that. There's a desert in the front. Mr. Zarek is going to choose side. And yeah, this is a problem for the red player. He's dodging, which means there's some time here. He's also going in between the wells. Ah, jeez. I think as Moon, you could... I'm sorry, my chair's rather squeaky. I think you could consider waiting a turn here. You could also consider using Flameburst and the Wrath, but then you're a bit short and you don't threaten any AoE. It's really just a difficult matchup, I think. But yeah, I would consider waiting. I would consider waiting. Because surely you'll deny collection here, right? But there's the next Hellship coming up. There's also Mystic Beast. Yeah, that depends. Now, if Zarek reveals the Oasis Explorer here, Moon might just know, or Moon might anticipate in general, that Zarek is not running any other neutral cards like Command. However, he could be on Humbling Vision, so playing the Faeria next turn might be a bit risky. So yeah, second Toeship coming down, now in a more aggressive position. I like the double Faeria here. Ooh, that could be quite the play. Yeah, why not? Why not go for it? You are threatening a lot of collections by playing the double Shadow Silk. You're also depriving yourself of a potential answer if you're not drawing well and you don't get the collections. Say if one fairy gets removed and then you don't have the other Faeria to work with. But alas, one fairy it is. Moon is keeping his cool. And Zarek, yeah, what does he do? He could pound the face, hit for 5, develop another Fanatic. Fanatic is not that great though. Leaves you a bit vulnerable, and you're not in a spot where you have to lose to any detonate lines, I think. Right, we're thinking about stuff like Cannon Carrier. Or even just the normal Cypher's Wrath. That could be quite devastating. But yeah, Zarek going for it. Like I said, a bit risky. There's one mech. Junkfeet doesn't really do that much though. I think you want to draw as Moon. Drawing looks okay. And you could play the Ground Shaker and the Shadow Silk. Gagana's not what you're looking for, I think. But yeah, just another Shaker could be solid. I'm not sure if you're that hot on playing a second fairy here. I think you could, actually. I think you could. That's possible. Just to ensure you're collecting right side. This is a spot where Map Dealer would be amazing, by the way. Just gives you a bit more breathing room. And the fairy dies, unfortunately, to the Soul Drain. A Explorer can be developed here. Moon is still sitting on 6 Faeria. Oh, that's interesting. He doesn't take the clear on the ferry. Instead, he clears the shaker, I'd presume. I wouldn't clear the shaker here, I would hit face. If that's what you're concerned with. But you're opening yourself up to detonate lines, that's rather scary. Yeah, that's... I don't know. I don't know, Mr. Zarek. I'm not sure if that's all that great. Second shaker does some work. Yeah, second shaker looks solid. You go back with the Fairy Collect. Shaker steps in, takes the trade. Not the biggest fan of hitting face here. You're not in a rush to corrupt, right? That's a bit uncalled for, if you ask me. Is he going for the double detonate? I think you would have been fine if you were to just trade the shaker and develop a second one. So yeah, double detonate, but the fanatic stays alive. And the flame burst? Yeah. And the trade, okay. We see another neutral tile. We find the Spirit Theft, and Zarek takes that Shaker. He does not want to mess around. But Moon is actually in quite the okay position here, because now these fairies are running rampant on the board. Fairy goes collect to the left, fairy goes collect to the top right. Fairy is doing all sorts of things. And yeah, it's probably just the Shaker. It's probably just the Shaker. Of course, you have to be aware of Zarek playing his ground Shaker, but I think that's fine, because you're still collecting. It's just, you know, the price of losing your detonate that early on is quite harsh. Map dealer doesn't really do all that much. It does get played here for 0, but you know the Shaker's coming probably regardless of what you're doing here. But it's not really accomplishing a ton. You're clearing one collection, that's all. Well, again, Moon is presented with a choice here. Does he corrupt the ferry, or does he actually go for the collection this turn? Oh, that's a sweet pickup. But it doesn't do enough, I think. Yeah. Not quite. Moon can block with a ground shaker, which is great into the shaker. Zarek picks up a training, and that's lethal. Soon. Soon to be lethal. Because he could hit for 6, and then there's pressure on Moon to block his orb against the Wind Soldier. Yeah. Zoom zoom. There goes Fnatic. I think you wanted to develop the desert that turn, if you're Zarek. If you're Zarek, you just make a desert next to Moon's orb, and then you're pretty much banking on the Wind Soldier. Now... Oh geez, that's really difficult. I don't think you can... Yeah, not against the soldier, and you can't really block. Well, he's going to think about it for a bit, but alas, you're not getting a lot done here. So yeah, a couple of lines could have went differently for Moon. I think most notably is the turn where he played 2 of his detonates and then had to hit in the shake anyways. I think in that spot you'd rather just trade one, block the other one from hitting face. And now it's green. Usually you don't want green to come down this early because you need it for the red matchup. And it's also quite okay versus Raccoons. Moon going for the mulligan here. Picks up Living Willow, that's a solid opener. But also Zarek having the Ancient Herald as well as the Kilm's training. Pretty substantial for any blue-yellow player. That's a grand opening. Let's see. So there's a problem if you're going for the double collection here with Living Willow. And that problem is mainly Herald stepping up and then clearing off your Living Willow if you're stepping for the collection next turn. And the double training is especially great. Yeah. It might have been better to hold onto the Willow for that reason. And maybe look for the Grove Guardian top deck. Something like that. So yeah, that's the early tempo I talked about. Great for Zarek. Really pushing the advantage here. He can even consider double landing and playing the Oasis. I think that's what you want to do, and you don't want to go in between the whales, you'd rather push up. He does not agree. Because right now, I don't think there's a clear for Moon. He's got to block with the Ancient Boar. I'd say it's generally awkward though. And Voice of Truth in the early game is not what you're looking for. You'd rather have an Oakling or something like that. If you're not on triple Oakling, it's really hard. That 7/5 is a mighty stat line. It's going to smite down any creature that comes down. And yeah, the land positioning is here. Super tricky for Moon. I don't think you go for the voice. I suppose he's going voice for yeah, for the Explorer. But now Zarek is just jamming all these value trades. Woo. Woohoo. Don't mind if I do. Colossus can come down here. Goes for that spot. I'm not sure if you really want to buy the green player more turns. As Moon, you're looking for the... Let's see, what are you looking for mainly? I think you could also feed the Living Willow and then try to develop Thyrian and Oakling. See what you get from the feed top deck. If you're getting something like an Emperor's Command, you know, you'll make do with it. If you're... Yeah, I don't think, you know, feeding the Oakling doesn't really do too much. He hits the golem here, which makes it a big thing. 10-15, but you don't really want the 7-1 hitting into it. Then again, if you can stabilize from that position onward, maybe it's not so bad after all. But yeah, this Colossus is in the middle of nowhere, so to speak. And the Oasis Explorer has collected a bunch, but it didn't really do Zarok any good in terms of pushing the aggression, you know? Soul Drain and the Wind Soldier. Oh no, just Soul Drain, that's a clear, yeah. Clearly a clear. But Moon has just so many ways of dealing with that. He can, you know, develop the Ancient Boar, play the Emperor's Command, and it's not really that big of an investment even. You could also keep the Emperor's Command and just step the Living Willow. That's also possible. But yeah, why not? Why not go for it? At least you're forcing your opponent to have another response to the Ancient Boar. Theft is not really useful now. But you know, it can be decent later on if you manage to steal a good unit. But Zarok's hand is just miserable right now. He's got that collection going for him, which is nice, but it doesn't really help him apply any pressure. Goes for the draw, finds the Mystic Beast, and probably chills for another round. I think as Zarok I would have liked to see the Toe Ship move, so that Moon is maybe forced to build another forest. Golem here again, such a babe, such a sweet pick. 510. Those are some stats. If you don't know stats, you might want to be introduced to another buddy of mine, Mr. Thyrian Golem. I think Living Willow could have stepped, and would have prevented either the Mystic Beast from clearing the Ancient Boar or the Wind Soldier from coming down. Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't step there. Hitting face is hardly ever relevant in this position, I think. Yeah, you're looking fine. Mighty fine. Beastmaster is a tool that can come later on in the game. Ideally, you would want to hit a Grove Guardian with it or something else. I think the biggest consideration here is whether you would want to clear the Wave Crush using Destructive Volley, or whether you would just take out the Mystic Beast for now. And I think you can actually take out the Mystic Beast. And yeah, buy yourself another turn against the Wave Crash. And probably stay there. You know you're holding up a lot of Faeria, there's no need to do anything crazy yet. Ideally you would want to drop the Beastmaster next turn and something else. There's some merit to using command on the Wave Crush now, and that means that your Living Willow can take 2 hits, which might be useful later on. It also means that Zarek would need an additional source of buff or removal piece here to clear the golem. But I think Moon is planning on doing the Destructive Volley. That, however, could change once the Toe Ship enters play. That's a great target here. It doesn't get better than this, really. Maybe if your name is Windborn Champion, but that's about it. That's a premium target, guys. Okay. Another Voice of Truth. Another Feed the Forest. What are you feeding? You can consider feeding the Voice, yeah. Maybe you want the Beastmaster left side anyways. Oh, yeah. Suppose that works. Whew. We are getting something done here. Look at this. That's a chain of taunts. Yeah, looks fine. Oh, that's a really good top deck. Third Coloss. Don't mind if I do. He even gets the clear here if he's using... Yeah, he could just use Wind Soldier. He could also use Soul Drain and Theft to get the Grove Guardian. I mean, Fnatic is nice, but not all that useful yet. He's just taking out the Grove. Yeah, he's thinking about it here. Interesting. Oh, I really dislike this. Because you're losing all your pressure. By doing this, you're essentially buying your opponent another turn. And Moon is not in the slightest worried about, just playing it slow. Second Beastmaster coming down, and the Oakling. And Zarek just lost all of his pressure on the right side. I mean, sure, he can play another Wave Crush here. But then the Oakling trades, and he's going to have to deal with the giant Voice of Truth. Truth or dare? What is it that you prefer? Yeah, that's pretty terrifying if you ask me. There's Oakling sitting there. Another Destructive Volley. Another Seek Shelter. What will it be? Could just be another Grove Guardian. Yeah. And you don't even have to hit on the Oakling yet. You can just step and then play the Grove. again, there's no real need to hurry up. Because as long as you're presenting more creatures on the board, Zarek has to be the one that has to make the effort and trade your board down, you know? So yeah. Moon really taking it slow, like you're supposed to. And that's it for Zarek. He's out of steam. There's no more Colossus in the deck that could save you. And there are no Archons that would help you scale. So it's really that point in the game where the blue-yellow tempo player fails to close out the game, and the Beastmaster value can come online, and just green in general, doing green things. And yeah, another double soul drain here doesn't help your cause. The damage has already been done. So it's pretty much over. All aboard the ship. Yeah. That doesn't cut it. Does not cut it. Trades on the Oakling, hits the voice, can replenish the HP on that 6/3 Grove Guardian. And he could even develop a boar. Look at that. There's no way, there's no need to be worried at this stage. At least if your name is Moonfasa. Those are pretty big. And we've seen no humbling for Zarek. At least I don't think there's any. Yeah. Jumps back. But I think he realizes it's a lost cause. And the army is marching up. I could see another draw here by Moon. Or is he just going for an aggressive Beastmaster? That would be a nice joke. Well, it looks like nothing happened. Herald is coming down. Command is coming down. Lots of things are coming down. But yeah, Moon's still in the driver's seat. Second grove. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. And he keeps marching onward. Just jam it, Moon. Come on. The time for thinking is over. No more thinking aloud past this point. You're the green, you do the green things. My chair is still squeaking. These things are inevitable. So yeah, I think you Beastmaster right side, play the grove. Move on. And he sits on it. He does like sitting on it. Well, to be fair, those are quite comfortable to sit on. Have you ever sat on a beast? I haven't. But it must be a jolly good ride. So the Tiki says, the little guy on the top of the beast. Because that is actually the ancient Beastmaster. It's not the beast, no, it's the Beastmaster. And a little, a little switcheroo, it seems, into trade range of the 6/6. You'll have to explain that to me. Yeah, that's a bit unusual. Okay. Another hit. And another hit. You can even destructive volley here for pleasure. And you would also deny one collection, if that's your shtick. No, keeps it. But to be fair, that doesn't really make a difference, does it? I mean, Sarek here is playing it out really just to see all the ratios, I would think. You're not winning from this position, but it is quite good to know how many Empress commands and how many volleys Moon is running, yada yada. So yeah, Sarek probably just sticking it out for that reason, to get some more intel on the green. And picks up another clear on the side. Oh, okay. Doesn't go for the value on the Beastmaster. He does not. That has to be that has to be the 5th Grove Guardian this game. 2 from Seek Shelter. That's funny. And the voice of truth. Discounted Aces Explorer. It's not going to carry. Okay. Almost done here. Moon should probably be holding more of his cards, as to not reveal any of his tech choices here. And Zarek can't really force out any volleys anymore. That's game. So the triple volley Beastmaster Green. He's probably concerned with yellow, and yellow flies in particular. So, we have the Raccoons versus Beastmaster Green. That matchup can go either way, really. Froctos, of course, is great on your Ancient Beastmaster. And then the Raccoon Champion can be rather troublesome. But if you get an engine going, it's really, really hard for Raccoons to punch through. Especially since they are rather slow and you tend to occupy a few lands. Gift of Rakoa can be a problem, but not one right now. That's a terrible draw here for Zarek. He's getting the Illusionist out without the effect. Moon doesn't have a good line as well. But he's probably just opting for the Grove on turn 3. I don't think you're priced into rushing here. Yeah, you don't really want to rush, I think. This is turning into Nightmare. I think you can sit back and try to outvalue. Right now, I mean, that's... Raccoons just have a bloody good defense here. Moon's playing the Grove Guardian, but either Zarek is going to ignore it, or he's going to just Gift of Rakoa on the 3-4, and then you're in a pickle. So yeah, I don't think it was necessary to rush. Yeah, not really. I think you go for the clear. Right? It's green. What are you afraid of? You could also clear by double buffing the Illusionist, I suppose. I don't... Yeah, I really don't like this play. You're not getting... you're not retaining the buffs, I think, is what I'm mostly concerned with. That's tricky. Moon doesn't have a good way to punch through the swarm. And Zarek can easily step on the lands that Moon made. So it's going to be really hard to get a foot into this game. Yeah, this is really bad. To say the least. It's probably just gift and then champion. You don't have to make double lands. I think you can just, yeah. You could have also just made a different land. You're not in a position where you have to necessarily develop that one aggressive. I guess you're taking the collection, fine, but it shouldn't really matter. I'm also not a friend of leaving a 6-1 on the board when there's Emperor's Command. Because that gives Moon actually a chance here to stick the Golem on the board. Tethra is a great card. Great way to make use of your Faeria, if you have any excess Faeria. But yeah, it's a bit pricey yet. I think it's still going to be the game winner though. With Zarek just hitting for 9 and then getting the early aggression in. Seek Shelter buys you a turn if you're fortunate enough. Could be Haunted Willow here. Could also be no. I think just Haunted Willow. All the other options are pretty bleak. You could even consider racing. Since you've seen 2 illusionists, yeah, it would certainly draw a tosser. I think you have to you have to race. Don't think there's much you can do. So by playing the Seek Shelter, basically Zarok has now the option to go for the defensive Tethra, clear the boar, and doesn't have to commit to, racing all that much really. Moon got the destructive volley, but doesn't quite have enough to finish the Tethra. And again, it's just a question of, being able to deal with the swarm of 1/1s or 6/1s. It's really, really difficult. So, Haunted Willow coming down. And Destructive Volley as well. Let's see. Could be Tosser this turn, could also be a simple trade with a Tethra. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. I think. Yeah, looks okay. I just don't understand the 4-4. I think you could have, as Zarok, you could have been in a much more comfortable position if you would have just had the champion in your base instead of, mindlessly pushing face. That doesn't really accomplish all that much. Because if you're winning on board versus mono green, there's really no way they can come back into the game. And yeah, for damage, that's a 5-turn clock. You're not getting much out of that. And Zarok, again, can just do whatever he pleases. I feel like could just be the trade here, and then you go for the shield mates into champion. And this time, mind you, the champion aggressive. Should be rather easy. Talking. Jesus. Oh, I guess I was wrong. He's on 4. He can't really afford the champion yet. But yeah, Moon kicks it. That's the green versus recurrence. I think it's 50-50 or more akin to a 50-50 scenario if you go for the long game. If you're playing sides with a Beastmaster. Maybe if you're getting the Eridan off. I haven't really seen Eridan in Moon stack. I don't think he runs it. But yeah, if you're running Eridan and you're less committed on cards like the Destructive Volley, then that can work out pretty brilliantly. Yeah. So much for that. Meteor. Boy, have you ever been happier than seeing Meteor? I don't think I have been. Well, it's always the matchup, of course, and if you can demolish some of the Raccoon's lands, that's pretty alright, usually. And then Croc as well. Great card. Great card against all that swarm. Baldurian should also be quite alright. Yeah. Let's see what Zarek can do. Is he trying to race? He could go for the War Machine. And a quick kill. But I don't know how feasible that is. Cypher's good. Cypher's not too bad. Cypher's never bad.
There can be only one.
So yeah, that's a pretty nice way of contesting really anything. Or even just for racing. Cypher is doing great. Here comes Mr. War Machine, though. I don't think Moon minds too much. He really can't be concerned. And double Croc's dinner, that's super good. Played it perfectly. I wonder if you ever consider taking out the Reveler here. Well, no, not after spending that much Faeria. Well, it does potentially reduce the effectiveness of cards like Gift of Recover. So you might be inclined to take out one Reveler. I was more worried about potential buffs like Tethra maybe, or Maginata. But I think it's reasonable to clear it regardless. Gives you a good hit. Yeah, Moon agrees, and the Meteor. Crushing! Absolutely crushing. Yeah, that's a game, buddy. And one last Raccoon remains. There's really no good way to answer this, Rush. Yeah. Well played. And beautiful display of Moon, showing us why it is important to bring polarizing decks like this. But we also have Red left. If it's Red combat, he might be able to outrace maybe by going mid-range, potentially even outrushing, but usually it's better to go mid-range and then build up your momentum that way. And I think Moon should just go control. There's really he shouldn't rush here. That's not a matchup you want to rush. Because you can just sit back, you don't have to actually do anything. Well, he could still opt for the control game plan, or at least for going mid-range. Yeah, he doesn't have to do this. There's no need. You're just making it harder for yourself. Because next turn that X-Grinder comes down, and then Zarek hits the face with a Horse Master, then you're in trouble. That's actually the one way to lose this matchup, I think. So yeah, it's important to know when you'll have to go rush and when you'll have to go sides. And Zarek has collected so much, he can already play the Garridan as well. Just as a big boy contender for the face damage. I don't know. I'm not too sure. So yeah, there's the Horse Master. You're basically just ignoring the Croc for now. That meteor hit was really solid though. So yeah, Zarek going for the Garden here, and I think honestly that's one of the better Garden's you're going to get. But of course, Moon does have the meteor. He's probably thinking about whether he should hit first or second. I think you hit first in case you hit the Red Devil, because this sort of locks you out from playing it, and you want to develop it aggressive, I think. Finds the Cypher. That's not too bad either. And yeah, he just has to play the cards in the right order.
There can be only one.
So yeah, that was a short window of being spooked. Moon hits the meteor, which is super crucial, especially since Zarek just committed 10 Faeria into the garden. Which again, I think that's a good gamble if you're dire for the race, which he was. It's not really winning the long game. And yeah, well played. Well played.